Do we have sound now? I think we should have sound. Why was that button pressed? Yeah, man. Hey, you see what one button can do, man? It's one little button, you know. So we have to do it all over again. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Thank you, listeners and viewers. Nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Yeah, man. Nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. The Lord Jesus Christ is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth Colin Anthony Bell to beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He leadeth Colin Anthony Bell in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though Colin Anthony Bell walk through the valley of the shadows of death, I will fear no evil. For the Lord Jesus Christ is with me. His rod and his staff, they comfort me. The Lord Jesus Christ prepares a table before Colin Anthony Bell in the presence of his enemies. The Lord Jesus Christ anointed Colin Anthony Bell head with oil. Colin Anthony Bell cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow Colin Anthony Bell and Portland Spice TV listeners and viewers and subscribers all the days of our lives, and we will dwell in the house of the Lord Jesus Christ forever and ever. Amen. Yeah, man. Carol say he leaded me out of Jamaica. No, sir. Can't left here. What a day, what a week. Every day that the Auditor General speaks, there is more corruption. Whole heap of corruption. What a lot of corruption happening in the country. And Ralston Hyman say, the people them not care. Some rum and boom. And if you're not getting any sound now, I think you should restart your computer or your phone, because we fixed the sound problem. So user, restart. Every time the Auditor General speaks. So the Auditor General said 200 Starlink was bought and the procurement process was not followed. We told you yesterday evening that we're going to be talking to Omar Newell this evening at about 5:30. And I think in a couple of minutes we're going to bring in Philip Paulwell, Shadow Minister for Telecommunication, Energy, all of them things there. Man with the experience. The man who have done it. Who have moved Jamaica from a monopoly in telecommunication to now a competitive market. Let's hear what Philip Paulwell said today.
With the acquisition of Starlink units outside of established procurement procedures, triggering scrutiny from oversight bodies.
Is a release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
According to the Auditor General's report, published on February 4, Minister Vaz proceeded with the acquisition of Starlink units outside of established procurement procedures, triggering scrutiny from oversight bodies tasked with protecting the integrity of public spending. This is particularly troubling given the safeguards procurement rules are designed to provide. I wish to point out further that the issue is complicated by the minister's own public statements. On November 1, 2025, Minister Vaz announced that Jamaica had received 700 Starlink units as a donation in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, presenting the devices as emergency support for national connectivity. Jamaicans are entitled to clear and consistent answers. If 700 Starlink units were declared as a donation, the public must now be told why a subsequent purchase has been made and now been flagged by the Auditor General. I wish to reiterate our call for the establishment of a broad-based oversight committee to strengthen transparency and accountability across government. Incidents like this highlight exactly why independent, cross-sector oversight is necessary, especially at this time.
At pnp.org.jm
Sir Paul,
or check us out on Facebook at Jamaica PNP.
We know that it is necessary, but when people have different ideas, it's not necessary. It's not needed. Because if people planning to rip and rape and ravish the country, they don't want no oversight. Oversight are going to get in them way. And we are seeing that these things are coming to the fore. I want to also ask you all to pray for the Auditor General, because she's out there digging up for the truth while the GLP them out there setting a rat trap. Because, Madam Producer, you know, so the government set a serious trap though. Them say, you see this argument about bad mind if you criticize the government? It's a rotted trap the government setting up that nobody wants to speak. Because nobody know why nobody say them bad mind. Eh? Tell her. The opposition must not leave these to any 9-day talk. Hey, we're calling on the Auditor General, do you know, to dig into the boss. The boss, Madam Pamela Monroe Ellis. The 110 boss mama. We need you to go and get the information on these bosses. Because when people like I and a few others say they rob way with the buses, we could have gotten 100 brand new coaster bus for the money. Instead, we are offered 110, and I say offered because the 110 bus not reach here yet. 110 buses for $1.4 billion. And you have GLP vloggers and bloggers out there saying that we are bad mind. Let's adopt a stance that says if defending Jamaica and defending the country and taxpayers' money means that we are bad mind, yes, we bad mind. Come here, Madam Producer. Because we have to defend taxpayers' money. I am a taxpayer. Me pay taxes. I mean, uncle pay dollar tax. Plug out that, plug in that. See it right around there. Yes. Me pay proper taxes. Yeah? Yes. Me have workers and me pay them statutory deductions. So me a proper taxpayer. Here? So, let me tell you this. But now I go sit down and keep my mouth and not talk. Because I live in a Jamaica. And when I go to the hospital I want service. Yeah? When we got a tax office, we want service. When we got a post office, we want service. So, now I'm going to frighten me. And then me not say nothing. I hear Damian Crawford in the parliament yesterday. And because it's reggae month, I'm going to play a part of Damian's statement. Listen to Damian Crawford in the parliament yesterday in his tribute to Cat Core, because it's something that I want to expand on. But listen to this.
Join in celebrating the life and contribution of some of our entertainment stalwarts. In particular, I will start with Cat Core. One of my most unforgettable memories was traveling to France to Reggae Sunscare. Remember, Tony Hilton was also there in 2013. At that time, Mr. Speaker, it was our intention to attract European festivals to come to Jamaica in the summer under a concept called Jamrock Summer, 90 days, 90 ways for entertainment. And we wanted to position Jamaica as the mecca for entertainment and to use entertainment as a filler for our hotel rooms in the summer months going forward. At that festival, Third World was booked for that festival. And Cat Core played the cello and played Jamaica Land of Beauty. You would be surprised to see 36,000 French personnel singing Jamaica Land of Beauty, not to the words, but on the cello. Yeah. But where my memory is frozen was after the performance. And some of the artists that we disregard in Jamaica, they were closing the show. Some of the people that we believe are 10 o'clock artists were show closers in France, 30,000. In Germany, in Belgium, Reggae Gil, Rotterdam Festival in Spain. Those were the ones closing the show. So when the show ended, the promoter said to the photographer, that time was the minister, junior minister of tourism, or as my good friend would say, minister of state in tourism. Yes. The minister said, the promoter said, take a picture with the minister and the band. I'm there, I'm posing. Nothing happens. The promoter says, take a picture with the minister and the band. Nothing happens. The promoter gets angry. She said, take a picture with the minister and the band. The photographer says, where's the minister? He assumed I was a part of the band. And he was so apologetic, but I was so pleased for having been confused to be a part of Third World.
And Damian, because I will come back to that, listeners and viewers, because I have MP Philip Paulwell on the line and the opposition spokesman on telecommunication, energy, and all of them something there. Sir Paulwell, good evening.
Welcome to your listeners. Good to hear you.
Welcome to the program, sir. You put out a statement today, and let me just play the statement so that my listeners can hear it. Let me just play this.
Is a release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
According to the Auditor General's report, published on February 4, Minister Vaz proceeded with the acquisition of Starlink units outside of established procurement procedures, triggering scrutiny from oversight bodies tasked with protecting the integrity of public spending. This is particularly troubling given the safeguards procurement rules are designed to provide. I wish to point out further that the issue is complicated by the minister's own public statements. On November 1, 2025, Minister Vaz announced that Jamaica had received 700 Starlink units as a donation in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, presenting the devices as emergency support for national connectivity. Jamaicans are entitled to clear and consistent answers. If 700 Starlink units were declared as a donation, the public must now be told why a subsequent purchase has been made and now been flagged by the Auditor General. I wish to reiterate our call for the establishment of a broad-based oversight committee to strengthen transparency and accountability across government. Incidents like this highlight exactly why independent, cross-sector oversight is necessary, especially at this time.
At PNP.
Sir Paul, well, you want to expand on that for us?
Yes, well, firstly, this government has been using this situation caused by Hurricane Melissa as excuse to do whatever it feels like doing. And that is not how a country is to be run. Yes, I agree that you have this emergency, but a minister ought not to be engaged in direct procurement, first of all, of goods and services. But what I find confusing is that at the time when the minister was supposed to be procuring these 200 additional Starlink, there were 700 already in Jamaica, and they were not allocated.
What?
And I gather that there are still some now that are still unallocated. So why was there the need to go and procure 200 more? And where are those 200 more? So I believe that the Auditor General is right in citing this as a major breach of procurement. And we as opposition, we have been fervent in calling on the government to ensure that there is proper oversight by the establishment of a broad-based committee comprising all the major stakeholders, including the opposition, to watch to make sure that things are happening in a transparent manner. It is not being done. That committee has not been established, and we just wonder why the government would not want to do that.
But isn't this
yes,
the very reason why the government don't see establishing that broad-based committee as being important? That they will do as they please?
It definitely allows for free-for-all and no clear basis to vet and to analyze what the government is doing. So you're correct. The government has willfully not wanted to have its action being reviewed. And thank God for the PAAC, and we have to big up the Auditor General's office for coming to the fore and for monitoring in real time some of these expenses. But that office can't do everything. And that's why it is necessary for such a broad-based oversight committee.
But Sir Paul, well, you just said a while ago that your information is that the 700 Starlink has not even been fully distributed. Did I hear you correctly?
That is my information. So the need for this 200 others has not been established.
Will you be calling for a full declaration of where the 700 plus 200 is?
Yes, well, I'm aware that the PAC, having gotten this report from the Auditor General, will be summoning all the players to Parliament. And then at that time, they have to come and they have to speak truthfully. So I'm awaiting that as well.
Isn't that about 4 weeks from now?
Well, I'm not too sure because there are some other matters like the university hospital issue that precedes this. So It has to be scheduled. But there are so many things that we are contending with now. But yes, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It will take some time. But the truth is the truth, and it has to be revealed. And again, the chips will fall where they may.
Do you have any idea of how whatever Starlink came was distributed?
You mean how many?
No, not how many, but who are the people who would have gotten them? What
Yes,
category of
well,
people? In my little head, I am saying that every member of parliament would get one or something. You have any idea how they were distributed? Who got them?
right. No, we really, again, that is not transparent. I know that those MPs in the West would have gotten, but it's not every single member of parliament. So that also requires some light to be shone. We need to know, especially for the 700, firstly, that were gifts, how those gifts were distributed, and then we need to account for these 200, why they were purchased, because by that time, I think people had begun to see the restoration of service. We had the leaders in the Western parishes being equipped, and they were using them to assist other people. So the justification for this 200 has not been done.
What? How much did the Auditor General say was paid for this 200?
I think it's somewhere in the region of, well, more than 12 million Jamaican dollars. So it's not it's a lot of money that was spent.
Yeah, 200 would have cost maybe somewhere about 14 million. If you're buying in bulk, yeah, that about 12 million would be okay. But Sir Paul, well, as it relates to this whole distribution of the Starlink, you're saying that as a parliamentarian and as the leader of opposition business in the House, you are not aware of what categories of workers or people who got these Starlink from the government. How could that be so?
Well, because there is no oversight taking place. There is no transparency. I would expect that a full listing of the persons who benefited would be done, and that has not been. And I see nothing wrong with us holding the government to task on a matter like this. We are again going to be calling for this oversight body because it's more than just Starlink. If you contemplate the billions of dollars that is being spent in relation to Hurricane Melissa, it provides room for all kinds of shenanigans. So I think it's important that oversight be properly done. And we believe that nothing short of a broad-based committee should be put in place.
Who are the members of the NARA? The Prime Minister, maybe about 2 months, if maybe 6 weeks ago, announced that they would be putting in place a committee called NARA to deal with the spending of monies for Melissa and stuff like that. Who are the members, Sir Paul? Well,
listen, we don't know what is happening with NARA. For us, it's neither fish nor fowl. We were expecting by now that the government would have tabled in Parliament a law, a bill to establish NARA as a statutory body with a governance structure that we could all vet and approve. Nothing has come to Parliament.
But why? Go ahead, yeah. Finish your thought.
But right. So I believe that there is a deliberate delay in proceeding with this because at least it will provide some basis on which some of the spending that is now taking place can be vetted by the Parliament through the PAAC.
Right.
Now, there is no such formal body in place, and I think after 3.5 months, thereabout, this should have been a priority because the government is saying that we have to build back better, but you can't build without structure. And right now, there's no structure. It's a free-for-all.
But Sir Paul, well, why don't we hear the opposition calling for this kind of thing to happen? The fact that from day one, the opposition leader came out, asked for this broad-based committee. The government put a spin on it, said that they were putting in a joint select committee of Parliament. the opposition leader said, no, that's not what we want. They spin it again to say that that is the committee, and you had some Labourite bloggers and broadcasters out there saying the opposition withdraw from committee. Why we don't hear the opposition pressing this in the parliament and making it clear to the nation that we're not going to accept what the government is doing?
Well, I think every opportunity we get, we press it. Parliament has certain rules governing how it operates. There's an agenda. So you're not going to be able to press certain items that don't fall within the agenda of Parliament. But we continue in our public presentation, in the discussions we have involving PAC and so on. I think it is good, though, that the Auditor General is doing her work, because it gives us this opportunity every time she comes out.
But the Auditor General needs help. She needs help, because when she do all of this and come out, nothing happened. The university issue comes out, and what Christophe done do, him put a committee in place to go investigate what the Auditor General has already found.
Yes. Well, we continue to wage the battle. We are going to continue to speak out, and we are going to continue to call for this body that I believe will enable greater oversight.
Again, Again, what is it that you're asking for from the Minister of Energy and Telecommunications?
Yes, well, in a nutshell, because I only have about 30 more seconds.
Yeah, man.
We are asking for the government to publish the recipients of the first batch of 700 Starlink devices, and we're also asking for full disclosure on the 200 that have been purchased by the government. Where are they? What's the intention? Who were they purchased from? So I think we can shed more light on this debacle.
And just before you go, Sir Paulo, just give us an update as much as you can on what United Island Gas is doing this week, next week to the middle of February, they say.
Well, that's going to take half an hour, but just to let you know, they are continuing with gathering data. I am very critical of the delays that have occurred since the license was granted many years ago by myself. I don't believe that there is justification for the extension of this license. I don't think they have performed according to the license. And I'm hoping, again, it's a matter where light needs to be shed. I will be saying a lot more on this matter shortly.
All right, Sir Paul. Thanks for the time. Blessings.
All the best.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Listeners and viewers, that was Philip Paulwell, Shadow Minister on Energy, Telecommunications, and I think Science as well. I want to thank him for just bringing some light to that. You get 700 Starlink free, and you go buy 200 more. Breach the procurement guideline. We want answers. I sent a message to the Minister of Labour and Social Security yesterday evening, inviting him to join us on the program to answer some questions that we have. And I looked already today if there was any response. I know he read the message. I know the technology can assist us by telling us, even if we don't take the blue tick off, we know when the message is read. So the message was read, and we got no response from the minister. Let's go back to Damien. And I see somebody in the chat room saying that Damien full of gimmicks. I don't think this is gimmicks. This is an experience. Let's go back to Damien Crawford.
I was a pal. I will never.
Let's take it back from the top.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, I too just come out of PAAC. But I too want to join in celebrating the life and contribution of some of our entertainment stalwarts. In particular, I will start with Cat Core. One of my most unforgettable memories was traveling to France to Reggae Sunscare Member Tony Hilton was also there in 2013. At that time, Mr. Speaker, it was our intention to attract European festivals to come to Jamaica in the summer under a concept called Jamrock Summer, 90 days, 90 ways for entertainment. And we wanted to position Jamaica as the mecca for entertainment and to use entertainment as a filler for our hotel rooms in the summer months going forward. At that festival, Third World was booked for that festival. And Cat Core played the cello and played Jamaica Land of Beauty. You would be surprised to see 36,000 French personnel singing Jamaica Land of Beauty, not to the words, but on the cello. But where my memory is frozen was after the performance. And some of the artists that we disregard in Jamaica, they were closing the show. Some of the people that we believe are 10 o'clock artists were show closers in France, 30,000. In Germany, in Belgium, Reggae Gil, Rotterdam Festival in Spain. Those were the ones closing the show. So when the show ended, the promoter said to the photographer, that time was the minister, junior minister of tourism, or as my good friend would say, minister of state in tourism. Yes. The minister said, the promoter said, take a picture with the minister and the band. I'm there, I'm posing. Nothing happens. The promoter says, take a picture with the minister and the band. Nothing happens. The promoter gets angry. She said, take a picture with the minister and the band. The photographer says, where's the minister? He assumed I was a part of the band. And he was so apologetic, but I was so pleased for having been confused to be a part of Third World. He thought I was a part. I will never forget that reality. And that is why I must stand today as a person with this image. I was reading recently the impact that Jesse Owens had on racism in the United States, having proven competence at the Olympics in 1936. The impact that these reggae artists that held this image like Minister Turlang, image like MP from Portland, image like myself, images like the minister currently, who was also an ambassador, image like Angela Brownberg, her locks not really farmers yet. In a farm, but she's coming. But let us not forget, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I said from Portland. I did recognize. But let us not forget, and in your heart, but let us not forget that in our lifetime, these people couldn't get a job without trimming their locks. Let us not forget that in our lifetime, there was clear prejudice against this image in this country. And it is the effort of people like Cat Core to show competence and confidence that has caused for me to read in this year or last year that there's 4 persons with locks in the parliament. There was not a time that style. And you know, that is why I say persons with locks, Madam Speaker. Because and of course, and not only with locks, with a Rastafarian practice. But let us not forget that the national acceptance started with them proving competence, capacity, and confidence. I also, therefore, must celebrate the minister and her role in IRFM.
Thank you, Damian Crawford. And I play that because, you know, Damian started that march, but I don't think he went far enough. I don't think he went far enough. Hold on for me, MP. You ready? Hold on for me. Yeah, man, that's all right. Hold on. Me suspect that. Hold the line. So, I'm glad that Damian took that stand and say all that he said. But there is more to be said as it relates to reggae music and what reggae music has done for Jamaica. And the people who push this music, what they have all done. And we have to remember that reggae music is world music, you know. Reggae music is not no ordinary music. I told you yesterday that we'll be having the MP for Central St. Mary. Kojak, I'll call you back. I'll call you back, Kojak. We'll have the MP for Central St. Mary talking to us this evening because he has brought a bill to the Parliament that is relevant and quite necessary and serious, not even just necessary like that, but a bill that is needed in the Parliament at this time. Because even this morning in the news, we heard JPS screaming of vandalism. MP for Central St. Mary, Omar Newell, good evening.
Good evening to your listeners.
Welcome to the Colin Bell
Jamaica and the
Show, sir.
diaspora.
Yes, and the world.
Yes.
Sir Noel, this is your first.
Shaka.
Yeah.
I know it's your program, but me now go to the bill before we talk about what we talked about earlier.
Oh, you want?
And I never heard the earlier part of the program.
Yes.
But I spoke in Parliament yesterday as well, and I spoke last week about Reggae Month. And let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I love reggae music. No question about it. I'm a reggae music fan. But I grew up on dancehall music. And I grew up on dancehall music at a time when it was Booga Yaga music. Similar to how my parents grew up on reggae music at a time when it was Booga Yaga music.
Dirty and Rasta, them are singing.
Yeah, man. It was Dirty and Rasta at them time now. When I grew up on dancehall music, it was people in Anga reach nowhere. I went to St. Mary High School, Mary's Eye. And then I went to Titchfield High School, One Titch. And I was in a crew where we used to beat the bench and DJ. And listen, the same way a lot of Jamaicans turn up their noses on patois is the same way them turn up them nose on dancehall music. And I got up in the Parliament last week and again yesterday, and I spoke about the fact that dancehall deserves its pride of place. So when we talk about Sly Dunbar, who the deceased, the late Sly Dunbar, and they were giving tribute, and they talk about the fact that he was reggae music and dub and pop. I had to talk about the fact that he was also the producer of She's a Dancehall Queen for Life, Beenie Man, dancehall music, and he was the producer of Hey Baby, Bounty Killer, and of the one with Lady Song, No Doubt. And you know, so dancehall music deserves its pride of place. A lot of us growing up in Jamaica in the 90s, the music we grew up listening to, unfortunately, a lot of people thought that we would amount to nothing because we were listening to that music and it was loud and it was vulgar and it was expressing what was going on in the society at the time. And dancehall music So yes, Damien is a dancehall music man. As a Rasta, as a dread, as a Rasta, it's easy for him to also big up reggae because people have the bias against the locks and all the dreadlocks and all of that. That's why I said dread. No offense was meant. But I had to give a plug to dancehall music. I win a reggae month, but dancehall week coming up, which my good brethren Dave Johnson is one of the founders of. The government got Ramesh to go on board, but I think it is important to mention one of the pioneers of dancehall week, who is a big businessman, no supermarket him own, between St. Thomas and Kingston. Own big boat to sail go to out of the keys them and whatever. But he's a man who believe in dancehall enough that he put his money where his mouth is. And we have to accept that this is one of our own. When Busy Signal go Europe and the crowd come out, when Sean Paul DJ in a patois, it's dancehall. So we have to own the things that other people, we can't just wait until other people honor it and love it and then we own it our own.
I listened to you yesterday in the parliament. I didn't listen to all of it because it was show time. I allowed you to speak a while ago because I want to tell you that I am very upset with all of the opposition members in the parliament from last week. And I'll tell you what is it that I am upset about. But before I tell you, you love Babsy Grange, don't?
All right. Here we go now. Listen, Babsy.
Yeah.
Babsy is one of them people that even if you don't love, you might can't hate.
And you have a lot of respect for her, don't?
I am man. I am a Bounty Killer fan. All the debates on whether Bounty Killer or Beanie Man was better, big up Comrade Beanie Man. But all of those debates, I was on the Bounty Killer side. I am a Bounty Killer fan. I'm a Shabba Ranks fan. And Paned come from Islington. I'm a Islington man. So politically, Babsy Grange and I have a whole heap of disagreements. We have disagreements on how things should be managed and all kind of thing. But I can't hate the lady because there's so much that is important and that has shaped me that she was a part of.
We don't hate people, and I don't want you to hate her. But Omar, for me, reggae means way more than just coming to the parliament and tell me say you're gonna put on some reggae dance and this and that.
Agree.
And why I'm upset with my opposition colleagues or my opposition comrades, I had expected some more pointed questions. And, I sat back and at one time I said, me don't send you a question or me don't send Isaac or Damien a question.
I'm in a mind you send me a question.
No, I know you don't mind.
Represent.
I know you don't mind, but why I didn't send it because I know all of you guys love Babsy so much that you don't even want to ruffle Babsy feather. Because how can we have reggae month?
Yes.
And we don't hear what is the budget to promote reggae month? Yes. How many flights are coming to Jamaica for reggae month? And how much we plan to earn from reggae month?
Yes.
Those are the things that I want to hear, and those are the reasons why I'm upset, disappointed, because I think when it comes to the ministry and the culture and the creative industry, reggae, sports, all of that involved in the culture and the creative industry, Babsy Grange is a colossal failure.
Here, how me look on it. I'm not talking about Babsy Grange, whether she's a failure or not, but in terms of the opposition response. So the first thing is, everybody I come into contact know and appreciate that anything at all said in Parliament, if you send me a question as somebody who is there as a representative.
Omar, where you gone?
Understands what that means?
Go again.
Representative.
No, you said if I send you a question, yeah.
Anybody when know Newell, would appreciate that if you send me a question on a matter that is in the parliament.
Omar? Look like Omar, I hope you're not moving.
I will at least.
Don't move, Omar. Look like you're moving.
Hello?
Yeah, we were hearing you.
No, I don't move me. I don't move me move. Calls are coming like crazy. I mean, I hang up on them. Them
Oh,
vex afterwards. But I'll call
okay.
back.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
you are listening to the program and you're calling, please don't call. But if you call, I'll call you after.
Right.
I'm gonna hang up. No, I'm saying I'm there as a representative.
Omar, let me tell you
If you
this.
send a question,
I know that if I send you a question, hold on. I know if I send you a question. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. You go.
In terms of our response, though, because there is, outside of even the questions you have, there are innumerable questions that others may have. So I am mindful that when I ask or speak on a matter, I may not ask every question from everybody's perspective.
True, right.
But Damien approached the question from a particular angle, approached the questions that we were allowed to ask and the time that we had from a particular angle. He spoke, for example, about the need for a reggae hall of fame that would honor people while they were alive as opposed to waiting on people die. You get up in the parliament and honor them.
Yeah.
And he spoke about a walk of fame, and he mentioned where he thought such a walk of fame could be held. And he spoke about the whole thing of zones where you could have. Hold on, I'm on Colin Bell's program, you know.
Yes. Thank you.
Colin, one of your nieces just passed. Anyway,
okay. Yes.
So he spoke about, you know, where he thought those zones could be and all that kind of thing. When I got up, my intention was to bring to Parliament, because I think Parliament sometimes doesn't represent the people. So you might have 80% of Jamaica who love dancehall, especially a particular kind of dancehall. Some of what I'm hearing now, I don't love it. But maybe when my son turns 40, he might look back and on reflection, he might love it.
Yes.
I am in my 40s now, and me love it. Me love what I heard when growing up. I don't love some of what I hear now.
Right.
My parents also never loved some of what they heard when I was in my teens. So I think sometimes as a body that is representative, we only pick out certain things. So I got up, and my thing was I wanted to speak about the fact that dancehall does exist.
Of course.
And Sly and Robbie existed in the dancehall frame.
Yes.
And he did produce dancehall music. So while you're bigging up this man for what he did for reggae, I am mentioning No Doubt, I am mentioning all of those other entities, he also did dancehall music.
Yes.
So the fact that that was my intention in terms of getting up, and I never had any other thing, I feel I wouldn't criticize Damien, for example, for how he spoke, because he had a particular objective in mind, and he might have met it.
Right. But I am just of the opinion, Omar, and you know where I am as it relates to earnings from the culture and the creative industry. Reggae Month should be a major income period for this island. And I believe that we could have earned somewhere about $2 billion from Reggae Month this year had we play our cards right. But then it's not for the opposition to do it. It's for the government. So I still put the blame at the government's feet. I put the lack of vision at the government's feet. But let us move to what I invited you here for.
No, but before Shaka, just before.
Yeah.
I approach dancehall music as a consumer. I used to be at the bench. I thought I could be a bad dancehall artist. And then I heard an artist named Spragga Benz and one named Bounty Killer and one named Vibes Cartel, and say, well, not. So I never approached it as a businessman in the culture.
Right.
Except I did a lot. I don't talk about it, and maybe I should more for the popularity, but because music is so emotional and I love it so much. I've done business with Bobby Digital. I've done business with Collie Buds, who is Bobby Digital's son, who produced Black Woman and Child by Sizzla when he was in third form at Calabar.
Yeah.
So it's not that I have not done things within the music. Ritical said to me, if not for the money, for the love, I have to produce myself some music before I die.
Yeah.
So I love the music. Yaxter is so much around me, and Devin the
Yes.
Doctor and all of them
Yes.
part of
Yes.
my Yaxter was a part of my campaign team
I know that. Yeah.
because they know the genuine love that I have for the music, yeah?
Yes.
So love the music and culture, but I approach it as a consumer. I don't fool myself that I'm a part of the industry. So I can't speak to what we would have earned. And I think that is a conversation we should have.
Of
But I
course.
think beyond what we could earn for the month of February, which is reggae month, we need to have a conversation about what we can sustainably earn.
Of course. There you go.
Hey, Colin,
There- yeah.
me go one place when me there college of America, you know, man. Me have a virgin where they own a clothing line, part of ownership. I want clothing line named Kuya.
Yeah.
And me
Remember
come to
Kuya?
Jamaica and the man, oh you mean? Me come to Jamaica, you know. And the man carry me go road with Berry man. So one time I roll out with Berry man, everybody in the entourage of Berry a man have whether you play drum or keyboard or guitar, everybody drive Pyre and Prada, you know. Me did it, I say, what is? I saw the man them a roll out, you know. Some man who you know, I'll know me no remember their name. If me see them, me no remember them who.
Yeah.
The man them a drive Pyre and Prado and them a live good. I me say, Beanie Man skip over some crate. I try to come meet Uncle Barris as in call him and
Yeah,
everybody
man.
call him. And
Yes,
try to
man.
come meet Uncle Barris.
Yeah, man.
So we know the power of the music, man. But
Omar,
sorry, you
I have
wanted to talk about the parliamentary stuff.
I
My
have traveled
apologies.
I have traveled over 30 countries in this world,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I am attributing 98% of that to the music.
Mm.
So I know the greatness of the music. I know what can
Yes.
be derived from the music. But as you said, that's for another conversation.
So you're in the field and I'm a consumer, so you know.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
No, you have brought a bill to the parliament. You're a new parliamentarian, what? September.
4 months.
4 months, and you have brought a bill. Me hear
Well, less than.
some people with our parliament from Wapikill fill up not carrying a bill yet. Tell us about this bill that you have brought to the parliament, Omar.
All right. So essentially, there are some utility, well, not some, but utility infrastructure has always been important in the history of mankind. Whether it is your waterways or
Yes.
after a while your electricity or your roadways or your fiber is relatively new in terms of infrastructure, and it
I guess somebody calling MP Omar Newell again. We're talking
in
today.
terms of the history of mankind.
Yes.
Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, man, you're back with us.
Yes. So in terms of the history of mankind, electricity and fiber are relatively new. But utilities, in fact, the reason they are called utilities, if you look up the word, is because of how, quote unquote, even though my English teacher in primary school would be upset, because of how utile they are.
Right.
So significant numbers of the population use them.
Utilize them.
And so as we have advanced, certain things such as electricity and fiber and even our waterways have become even more important. So when you think about it, imagine poisoning the source of a waterway.
Oh, yeah.
And how many people that impacts. Or imagine cutting some lines of fiber that lead to a hospital or some major, whether public or private sector entity. And imagine vandalizing some utility production facility. Those have significant implications, not only for the utility companies, but for the consumers and for the businesses that rely on it. So those can cripple economies. So the resolution, the private members' motion that I moved in Parliament was for these to be characterized as in a special kind of way and with particular penalties that would treat with them different from regular vandalism and the regular laws that would treat with interfering or destroying those kinds of infrastructure.
Yes. Omar?
Yeah, man, I'm here. The phone keep on ringing. But yes.
Yeah.
So that was it.
So you are saying that right now the laws that we have does not adequately address the vandalism of those kind of infrastructure?
So think about it. We have criminals now who because of the search for copper or for metals that can go in the scrap metal trade would cut say fiber cables. They cut, you walk down the road based on what the utilities section tell me. They cut another part. They go down the road and they cut another part because they're searching for copper
Right.
and they're searching for other things that can be sold.
And in
Now,
fact, they are one of the
you
reasons
go
why.
through and let just give you a practical example. You go through and you cut $500,000 worth of fiber, and you go to the courts and you are convicted, you're found guilty,
Yeah.
and your charge is say 200,000 or 300,000 Jamaican dollars. That is inadequate. There's no investor who would want to come in and spend on fiber unless they're already heavily invested in Jamaica, which is maybe why the two major utilities are the ones who keep reinvesting. When they know that when they come and invest and somebody come and vandalize, because the utilities are no longer really using copper in their lines because they realize that the copper has some value. People cut and take those out and use it for whatever. But you're still incurring these heavy costs. And what it does is it affects people like you hosting a radio program. You wonder why the whole Robbins Bay not here. And you tell Mr. Robbins Bay supposed to hear, and me I tell them not here. But because the fiber got cut, they're not getting any signal or any feed there. And so what I'm calling for is I'm saying when a man vandalize, paint up Highgate clock and put Newell on it, is a different thing from when them cut 100,000 or 500,000 US dollars worth of fiber cables, and he should be treated differently because it impacts way different and more people and institutions. And if you're in the hospital and the hospital goes down, it has significant implications in terms of the kind of service you will receive. And so you should be treated accordingly.
But also, Omar, when a man cut the telecommunication line, because that's one of the reasons why I think Flow now not using copper anymore because the man them thief out all of the copper. But when they cut the communication line, one of the things that is also helping to drive Jamaica's economy is our call centers. Those are down. And it is not just the wire.
And private because I never wanted. I mentioned public and private because I never wanted to touch any particular industry. And I know people have a lot of feelings where call centers are concerned. But you're absolutely right. I would say business process outsourcing.
Whichever way you want to call it, because a lot of people earn their bread right there.
From that.
Yes.
Correct. But
I
know that even you have listeners who have their own personal views where those are concerned.
But even your point of sale machine, even your point of sale machine can't work.
You can go point of sale, but even your hotels. Think about wherever Sandals headquarters is, where everything terminates in terms of when people book.
Yes.
And the different modes not being able to communicate with there. So there are so many applications that become impacted. Think about a doctor's office. Can't receive email. Somebody have a major issue and trying to come somewhere and somebody sending the medical record so that the doctor can look on it, and the doctor can't look on it because the fiber optic got cut and it can't reach. Or think about Westmoreland.
Or a house is on fire.
Think about Westmoreland, where this morning, where the member of parliament got up 2 weeks ago and said none of his constituents in eastern Westmoreland had electricity. And this morning, a significant amount of the equipment that would have restored it was vandalized. Think about that. says that the implications are so far-reaching, Shaka.
So what are
So
the
far-reaching.
what are the penalties that you are calling for?
No, I am a socialist. I am not calling for penalties.
Uh-huh.
What I'm calling for is a process for the different individuals and entities that are impacted to come in and to be a part of the conversation, and for us to come up with the relevant penalties out of that. So what I have observed, and I think that is my responsibility as a legislator, what I've observed is that the penalties now are inadequate.
Okay.
But I want the people to be a part of the conversation.
Okay.
Because it is the people who are impacted. So I want a man come in and say, boy, when time when me go Western Union because I can't work, me at 70 and me have a disability. And I can't work and I just get my money, the one close to me. And when time the thing mash up 2 weeks ago, I couldn't get nothing down there. So me feel say at this the thing there. I want all of those to feed in and for us to factor all of those. I don't want a situation where we only factor the telecoms and the different utilities. I want us to factor everybody who gets impacted, because as much as I mentioned, say, a telecom might put up 500,000 US dollars and when they get vandalized, 100,000. A man who have a drug were essential to him, where what was required was 2,000 Jamaican dollar. That mean more to him than to the telecoms.
Of course, because
You get what I'm saying?
maybe barely can
So in
find that
terms of my,
$2,000.
all right, with us might. So in terms of my own orientation and how I view representation, I don't go put in and say them here me want the penalties to be. I have some ideas, but I want a process where people come in. So I have called for a joint select committee.
Yes.
To allow everybody, the utilities and Jamaicans on a whole, to come in and to be a part of the process, because that is what democracy really means. Everybody have to have a say, but it can't be indefinite in time. After a while, a decision has to be made.
What kind of response you're getting from the government side towards this bill?
Well, so far, it has been I was allowed to table it.
Yes.
I think next week, and I'm not going to say whether it's unfair to them or not, but next week is when Parliament will be prorogued, and next week I think is the final date that it can be debated. If it is debated next week, I have to retable it anyway in the new parliamentary term, which will open up on the 12th. So I have already accepted that I may need to retable.
Okay.
And that after the 12, I have to bring it to the 4. But what I can tell you is that the response from the public, from the media, and from the telecoms has been overwhelmingly favorable.
That was my next question. So talk to us about the response.
No, people believe that this is very necessary and this is needed. I've talked to the people responsible for whether legal or regulatory affairs at at most utilities. And they're all of the view that this is something that is needed. They believe that the laws that exist now are toothless and that this is something that can be of significant help. In fact, there's one utility that said they would be willing to invest more because they have lost millions of US dollars per year in vandalism on their network, and they could use even some of that to reinvest. So think about us saying how I think of it, Shaka.
Yeah.
Think of us saying that the amount utilities use is 2 million US dollars, is 300 million Jamaican. And they would need to put, if we save them that, or whatever amount of that we save them, they have to put 2 or 3 or 10% or 50% of that into supporting public institutions, and think about what that will mean.
Definitely. Definitely. Hold on, may I hear something else in the background, Omar?
I'm there in the street still.
Okay. So most of the times when opposition members bring these private members' motion to the parliament, they get squeezed to the side. Are you hopeful that this one, based on what it is, would come to fruition?
All right, let me tell you how, because there are even some opposition members who don't understand how I operate. I think Jamaicans are reasonable people by and large. I think people who are in the middle of the road, if they believe that you are unreasonable, they will be against you. I think if they believe you are reasonable, they will be with you. So I believe that people will be with me if I am reasonable. And I'm saying reasonably based on when I move the resolution. I have to wait and see what happens next week. And I have to give sufficient time for it to be on the order paper and debated before I can make an opinion on it. So I don't want to, and this is the only, I answer that way because this is the only private member's motion that has been moved by the opposition in this parliament. So
this new parliament.
Give me a little time. Give me until about April or May to answer that question. That is what I'd ask.
Definitely.
Because reasonably, if it drop off of the paper next week, I can't complain.
I believe it is a bill that
but
must go through.
If I bring it back and there's an issue, then we're going to have a problem.
I believe that this is a bill that must go through. And therefore, I don't see the government trying to put any block in the way of this bill because it is critical to the utilities infrastructure. And that touches all of us because I was about to say to you at one point, if a man's house is on fire and him can't call the fire brigade because somebody cut out the line, then it touches everybody.
Fully agree.
So, MP, I'm going to allow you to go, but there's two things that I must ask you. Your constituency had suffered some damage coming out of Hurricane Melissa. Has the assessment been completed in your constituency?
Not based on my last day in office. I'll be in office tomorrow again. But based on my last day, we were still assisting individuals to do their self-assessment and self-reporting.
And your last day in office was when? Last week?
2 Thursdays ago. Last week, Thursday, there was a matter that prevented me from going in. But 2 Thursdays ago, there were still persons who were not yet. Yesterday at PAAC, I asked the minister and his team when would be the deadline for persons to do the self-assessment. And no, we can go again, man. I asked people when would be the deadline for persons to do so. And I was advised that, well, they didn't give me a deadline. They did not give me a deadline. But the closest they gave to a deadline was that, and I want your listeners to listen keenly and to tell their friends and neighbors. The closest they gave to a deadline is that they didn't think they would allow it beyond another 2 weeks. And that was at yesterday.
Oh.
So I would encourage everybody who is listening, if you experienced any damage from Hurricane Melissa, I'm encouraging you to search on the Ministry of Labor's website and to have your assessments done as quickly as possible, because I don't believe they're going to go beyond another 2 weeks. And I would say 1 week, because I didn't get a definitive, and I generally put sometime before and sometime after.
Okay.
In case I'm there 2 weeks sometime ago. I don't want you to get yourself in any trouble. So go online, search, and get the assessment done.
But I'm going to say to you now, it's not the final question. I said I have two, that was one. But somebody in the chat room is asking, is Mr. Newell an attorney? How do you answer that? I if you want to allow me, I know how I'd answer, but you go ahead and answer.
It's a two-part. It's a two-part question that, you know. So the first part is, if you have 10 more questions for me, I'm here.
Okay.
And the second part is, I'm a trained lawyer, but I'm not an attorney. An attorney is somebody
who is called to the bar,
especially in the jurisdiction that the question is asked.
Right.
So I do have a Juris Doctor from one of the Midwestern Ivy League institutions, Northwestern University School of Law. Very prestigious. I like to remind people 160 was accepted out of 10,000 applicants. No, Damon Crawford say if you don't tell people your pedigree, then think you're a mongrel.
Of course.
So I went to a good school, completed it, finished very strongly in my class, but I'm not an attorney. I've never been called to the Jamaica. I've never passed or done anything in terms of the bar in Jamaica. I passed the New York bar in my first go, but I'm not an attorney at law. I'm a lawyer by training, though, and technically, but I don't tell people I'm a lawyer. I tell people I'm a businessman. Similarly to how I don't tell people to call me Dr. Newell, I tell them call me Omar. But I have a Juris Doctor from Northwestern University School of Law. And if you Google it, you will find that it is ranked 9 out of 4,000 in the US.
No, people are very proud of you, including me, because let me also tell the viewers that MP Omar Newell is the chairman for Region 2, which comprises of St. Mary, Portland, and St. Thomas, of which I am one of the vice chairman. And this is a man who has been in the politics from know him in the politics.
Respect.
No.
Sorry, Shaka, you know, just quickly.
Yeah.
Angela Brownberg called and said something to me one time, and I accepted it. And when I did my letterhead, I had Omar Newell MP. And some supporters of mine, in fact, members of my team were very offended. They thought that I should have Omar Newell, BBA, JD, MP. Because, you know, sometimes people have all of them things there on their letterhead. Yeah. I compromised and I had JD MP added. So I had it amended and I had JD MP added. But Angela called me and she said to me, she said, Omar, I've known you for many years because I used to run former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller's social media for when she was opposition leader before we won in 2011.
Yeah.
And Angela said, I've known you for many years and you're always humble. And humility is sometimes good in politics, but it's not always good. So she said, and it was around the time when I thought I wanted to run to be an MP. She said, in politics, if you don't brag about what you have, people will not know.
True.
And you will never get to where you want to go. And so it is something that I'm still working on getting out of my shell where it is concerned, because I still have the view that you're to be measured based on what you're doing and what you do, as opposed to what you did. But I accept.
And Jax from Jacksonville is saying that please go and do the bar.
And even no man, not even the bar. Even earlier last week, I saw someone advertise a program that the government is doing called REAP, Rural Youth Something Agriculture Program.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship in Agriculture Program. That's a program that I started when the PNP was in government. There's a program called the Graduate Work Experience Program. I started it. There's a program called the Access to Education Program. I remember being at case with former Minister Lisa Hanna. It's a program I started. So it's a significant amount of work that I've done in the region, constituency, and country.
Yes.
And I accept that I have to get out of my shell a little bit and make people know, say, yeah, man, Newell did this.
And I remember the first time I applied to the People's National Party to run and went for an interview. You were what? You were the chairman of the panel at the time?
Yeah, I was something on the panel.
But I know you were on the panel. The first time I sat before a panel trying to represent the people of East Portland, or the people of which division was that? I think it was the St. Margaret's Bay division.
St. Margaret's Bay.
So when Darrell Vaz come out and said me did I go try to run for St. Margaret's Bay, some people wanted to twist it and say me did I go run for GLP. No. I wanted to represent the People's National Party. Yeah? And I went to do my interview. Omar Newell was on the panel. I don't remember if you were the chairman. But Omar, I was going to...
No, I think I was. I wasn't.
I was
but
going
I was
to
a part.
I was going to your performance in the parliament, of which, as I said, I am very proud of you as somebody
Respect.
who step up and you're in the parliament now asking pertinent questions. How much
Respect.
research you have to do before a sitting of the parliament to come up with these pertinent questions?
Well, you know, you can. There are different ways to approach the parliament. So you can decide, say, boy, I'm going to parliament, I'm going to wing it. Or you can say, you know what, I'm going to just friend up everybody and hopes everything go a particular way. The approach I take is I believe the parliament is legitimate on its own. The speaker doesn't seem to always take that view, but on its own is a legitimate arm of the government. It should question and interrogate things that are coming from the executive.
Yes.
And so, if 1 week, and not everything I research comes up in the parliament, you know. So, for example, something that me recently, I do some research and I never have nothing to talk about, so I left it.
Yeah.
But if something comes up and it kind of disquiet me, I reach out to the Hansard writers and I say, I want to get the Hansard for this part of the parliament.
Yeah.
And the thing that a lot of people talk about is the thing that happened with Favour. Favour came to the parliament 1 week and she spoke about the JPS loan and said pretty much that the JPS was going to get money from multilaterals that they will be able to use to repay the government. And then when she came to Standing Finance Committee, she was well. When her financial secretary came to PAAC, she had a different thing to say. When Favour came to Parliament, she was walking back some of what she said, and I was able to quote what she said
From the
in
Hansard.
Hansard because that is my approach. Now, when you write to the Hansard, it takes days to get, because think about recording 4, 5, 6, 7 hours worth of minutes, and the time it takes to transcribe it and then going through and finding exactly what you want. So it takes a while. But based on just how I operate, anything that I feel will be of moment or important to me in the future, I ask questions about it. So when Favour answered how she answered, I knew it was a wish. That's why I said I'll wish along with her, because I also hope things will be good in Jamaica.
And
so if she's wishing, I am wishing also.
And your lawyer training, your lawyer training kicked in and you just leave her with it there, so.
Yeah, man, but because I am not the government and she is the government. She's
she
our government, you know. And she's the only minister of finance we have. What else are going to do other than wish along with her?
You're sure about that?
Well, I know. I don't, whoever is.
I'm just asking if you are sure that she's the only minister of finance. I don't know.
Hear me out.
I'm just asking.
Hear me out. The Constitution speaks to 2 members of the cabinet who must be from the House of Representatives: Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, because of the whole principle of no taxation without representation.
Yes.
So if she is the Minister of Finance on paper, she's the only Minister of Finance we have. Sure.
Omar.
She's the only Minister of Finance we have. So if she's there and all she has is a wish, what else me can do other than wish along with her?
Omar, respond to people who are saying that the opposition is not strident enough in the parliament, is not strident enough general, and is not holding the government to accountability as they would like to see.
And I suspect that is your last question. I'll answer this way. Opposition party has to be strategic. The reason I moved a private member's motion is because Norman Manley was my favorite leader of the opposition. And Norman Manley set out, and if you look at how he operated, he moved a lot of things that could also move the country forward. Now, if you in year 1 of a 5-year term decide that you are going to operate based on just attacking and opposing, and you're going to sustain that for 5 years, you are my kind of MP. I love you and I respect you and I'm with you. I personally feel, though, that the reason people were so interested, whether they were PNP, JLP, or even like Emily, who some people call labor right and some people say more unbiased and will call a spade a spade. Whatever you call Emily as, the reason she would come out and speak to it in a positive way is because she does not see me as a member of parliament who has built a career of just opposing for the sake of opposing. I think there's value in being reasonable. And I think if you are legitimately reasonable, when there's a legitimate reason for you to attack and to respond in a particular way, more segments of the population will carry that. There are 28 members of parliament on the PNP side. There's space for people who want to operate one way. There's space for people who want to just attack everything. There's space for everybody. So if there are people who have a different approach, I think it is a beautiful thing in terms of how we can operate as an opposition. In terms of my own approach, though, I believe there's value in being reasonable. So if there's something that is good for Jamaica, I think there's value in me speaking to that.
But
And if there's something that is not, I think there's value for me hitting out at it. And I think more people appreciate me hitting out on something that is bad for the country because they see me as reasonable. So then we say, Omar, no man, just lick out for the sake of lick out, you know. Omar step on that thing, yeah, it means say bad. And PNP people, JLP people will always support JLP. PNP people will always support PNP in terms of being tribal. In terms of the middle, though, which I believe the PNP has to go for, and I think both parties might have a view that they should go for. The middle will more move to people who they believe that the response is based on logic and based on reasonableness. That is my view.
is it unreasonable, or would it be unreasonable for the opposition to be calling for Tufton to be removed as Minister of Health with all the...
Can't be unreasonable. Hold on. Well, the first thing is, and this is your 5th final question. If you
Yeah.
go to 20 final question, you're good with me. Are you and Shaka? But hear me now. Hear me now. In my response, I said with 28 members of parliament, all of us don't have to have the same personality. And what I find sometimes is people sit down and believe that everybody should approach it the same way. There are some people who are more aggressive than others. When me I go high school and primary school, me have some friend where if a man this, yeah, a man will say, boy, I have to reach a threshold before me go fight. But you have some man where if a man turn him out too far, I ready for fight. I just say go.
Yeah.
People respond differently, just in terms of personality. That is one. The second thing is, based on everything that has happened, objectively, if you look objectively, and a man say tough time for step, there's nobody that will look, a man can objectively argue that he should not, you know. And the man can point everything to a technocrat and say, oh, it's this or it's that or that. But objectively, a man where look unreasonable and on a horse and a race, I go say, yeah, man, maybe you're a tough time, I go say no. A man can't oppose to a man saying tough time for go. All a man can do is say, wait, me can't answer about it yet. Me have to wait and hear what the other side I go say. And then hear what the other side. If you are objective, you can't oppose to a call for Tufton's head based on everything that has happened over the last several years of him being minister. There's no way. So yes, I think it's a reasonable thing. Now, I don't go in apart from the telecoms thing because Paul is my cousin and is one of my one of the people who gives me significant support.
And we had him on
just
before you as well.
Yes. So when I was moving my private members motion, one of the first people I took it to was Paul. Apart from him, I wouldn't insert myself. But this is also an area that I'm very much interested in. Technology is one of the things that I've written a lot on in the media if you watch me over the years.
Yeah.
So I would naturally go on that. But I wouldn't go into healthcare, for example. I'm interested in healthcare because my wife is a senior doctor. But I wouldn't go into the administration and policy. Dawes is more competent than I am, and it's not something that I see myself wanting to jump on and take on. You understand? I would probably go into agriculture. I'm a farmer. I have the history there. I go into industry and commerce. I have some history there. I don't have a whole heap of history.
And we're not going into health tomorrow. I just ask you that question because, as the question before was, what would you say to people who said the PNP is not strident enough as they deal with the opposition? And I just ask you that question.
And it's a very reasonable question. I hope my answer covered all.
Yeah, man. So we're not going into health and not asking you to rain on anybody else's parade.
Yes, I would hate to think that I spent so much time answering the question and never gave it an answer. What I'm saying is, it's not something I think it is a reasonable ask.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that question. Is there anything you want to add finally before you leave? It's not a question, just giving you a permission to speak on anything you want to speak on before I let you go.
All right. So I suspect that a lot of your listeners are in East Portland, correct?
My listeners are all over the world. Whole heap of them in St. Mary too. Yes, man. A lot of them are in East Portland. That's the base.
Okay.
That's the base.
So you just say yes.
Yes.
You just say yes.
Yes.
So a lot of your listeners are in East Portland. Significant amount of them are in Eastern St. Thomas, which is neighboring and adjoining, and would have been listening from Styles. Significant of them are in Southeastern St. Mary. Significant of them are in Central St. Mary, because these are areas that would have been listening to you from Styles FM.
Long time, yes.
All right. I'm saying that because I'm the regional chairman for Region 2. And that is a significant part of the footprint of Region 2.
Yes.
There's a program called the Spark program. But separate and apart from the Spark program, I know that there are lots of constituents who, in the 3.5 months since 4 of the 7 members of parliament in Region 2 would have been PNP members, there are significant numbers who would have believed that a lot of their issues would have been resolved. And I deliberately said resolved as opposed to addressed, because a matter can be, quote unquote, a man can be addressing a matter, but it's not yet resolved. Yes? Resolve means it clear up and it done.
Right.
I think at some point we need to have a conversation about how things are done. For example, how a road is done. Who has responsibility for fixing your roads? So in Portland, for example, you would have a double whammy, because your municipal corporation would have responsibility for a certain number of roads.
Yes.
And your minister of government, your central government, would have responsibility for a certain number of roads. So a man like Isaac Buchanan, who gets about $4 million per year that he can directly spend on roads, people may not understand. And when you put the context that the NWA says it costs $35 million to properly do 1 kilometer of roads, it might make a lot of people shocked, and them eye might roll up and their head turn.
Yes.
Reasonable?
Yes.
So I think at some point we need to have that kind of conversation about how their community centers are not properly taken care of, because that $3 million for infrastructure includes roads and community center.
Yes.
So a man might look and say, well, a proper community center might take about $10 million to properly do. And then you work on how you're going to maintain it. So we need to have that kind of conversation with our people, so that two things. So that one, they can help to support how we advocate. And second, they can know who to hold accountable.
Yes.
So when their road is not done, they know that there is Mayor Thompson. They know that there is Minister Morgan. And insofar as ISAT is raising the matters and keeping them accountable when he gets the opportunity to.
Yes.
Because a lot of people also don't know, and I find it even in my constituents. People come to me and say, MP are going good, but I hear talk about the road. And I will say to them, the way the parliament is set up, you can only ask question on a matter that a minister makes a ministerial statement on.
Yes.
So if the Minister of Works was not come to the parliament all now, If he does not come and talk about roads, you can't raise question on roads until you reach to the constituency debate, or if you find a way to put it in the state in another debate. You understand?
Yes.
So I would love a conversation just on how government operates so that we can educate our people and make them know what to expect. So that when time we go out on the road and say we're going to get militant now because we want our pound of flesh.
Yeah.
We want the roads in a central St. Mary to be good. At
And-
least we want when they come out, they know say we are at one and we're fighting for the same thing because we deserve it.
I am going to invite both you and Isaac, and I should just invite Chris Brown and Rose at the same time. But then this will have to be a video conversation. So we have to organize the date when you are when you are at a place where we can bring you on via video so the people can see all four of you. Because you know, and we have to congratulate Omar, Lord, former chairman. What's his name again?
Edwin Marr.
Edwin Marr. We have to congratulate him to winning 4 out of the 7 coming from 1.
From 1.
Yeah, man. So Region 2 did well in the last general election.
Absolutely.
MP Omar Newell, let me thank you for spending the time with us this afternoon,
thank
my
you,
brother.
And thank you to your listeners.
And your cause a storm.
Remain safe.
Your cause a storm in the chat room now. Everybody start say which part them are listen from. Atlanta in the house, New York in the house, St. Bess in the house, Kingston in the house, Baltimore in the house, Boston, Massachusetts.
Portland, no, man, and East St. Thomas. You need to make some nice.
No, in fact, a man in the chat room I say him did ask you about the road.
Yes. Well, I hope this was enlightening for him.
Yes.
In terms of how some of those things are done. I hope this was helpful to him.
Thank you, my brother. One love. We'll talk.
Yeah, man.
Blessings.
All right. Blessings.
Listeners and viewers, Omar Newell, MP for Central St. Mary, talking to us about a private member's motion that he brought to the parliament within his first 4 months in the parliament. Big up yourself, me youth. Enough respect. So proud of Yes. And the week spicy. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Yes, Colin, I would like to speak on the copper problem down there, you know what I mean?
The copper problem, the man where thief out the copper.
Yeah, the other time in England, you know, they used to have the same problem. You know, everybody could just pick up the copper and go sell it and get cash for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what they do, they cut it out. You have to everything has to be documented. You have to give ID. You have to tell them where you're working. Everything has to be documented.
But one at a time,
and they pay in check.
One at a time, they stop the sale of scrap metal, you know. And a big man in the GLP allows scrap metal to be exported. I don't know if you remember the time, and they start calling him scrappy.
Yeah. Well,
but most of the telecoms, they are now going to fiber so as to cut that out.
Well, the point is, once it's copper, you know what I mean? People, but you can't just turn up and sell copper in England anymore. You have to everything have been documented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to give up your ID and give where you get the copper from and things like that. And everything is documented. And if the police come in and the dealer and he cannot give any account for the copper, he's gone to jail.
Boy, Jamaica is a different place here, my brother. Jamaica is a different place. You remember me tell you, say, they had suspended the exportation of scrap metal because of that, you know. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And a senior member of the Jamaica Labour Party who was in a senior position allow the exportation of scrap metal same way. Jamaica is not a real place, you know.
But Colin, what they can do, the people who sell the copper, they have to give paperwork where they get it from and
you're not listening to me though. You're not listening to me.
I'm listening to you.
This is Jamaica, brother. The government already suspend the exportation of scrap metal. It's not that you have to show paper now. None of it sell. And a senior member of the GLP in a senior position allow the exportation same way. You know, you said Jamaica is not a real place.
Yeah, it's very sad though. And one more thing, you know what I mean? One more thing on this. Yes, one more thing I want to say. You know that there are some people in government think they are entitled to steal taxpayers' money.
It looks so. No, that look like it become a norm in Jamaica now. Maybe I'm not entitled. It look like that is also a part of the law. It look like law in Jamaica now say you must thief government money.
Colin, listen to me. Michelle Charles thinks she's entitled to take taxpayers' money because there's no accountability.
Yeah, look on the receipt we have for this woman and nobody now say nothing about it.
She should be arrested. But
we have a receipt said the woman spent CDF money 1 month after Rosemary Shaw was sworn in as MP for Eastern St. Thomas. Michelle Charles still has spent government money. We have the receipt.
Colin, she steal from taxpayers. She steal taxpayers' money. That's taxpayers' money. And she should be arrested and bring before the court. But I said there's no accountability, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, not in Jamaica. Yeah. That's why I tell you, say, them something the way I talk about where my England. No, happen my Jamaica. If Andrew Holness was the Prime Minister of England, he had to resign from about 2022. He have to resign. Much less run and win back. That couldn't happen in England.
Yeah. One more thing. Have you pay attention to the S-team list? And see that there's no probably people from the Venezuela is on the list, none from Cuba, none from Russia, none from Iran, none from Palestine, but there are people from Israel, people from America, England. You name it. You know what I mean?
And then people were on the S-team file I tell people said enough to play marble with Cuba. Tell them!
Yeah, and these are all Peter files. You know what I mean? And one more question. One more question. I wonder if this guy Dan Query is on the list. Dan Query. I wonder if he's on the list.
I don't know. Little more. You're too bad.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Lord have mercy. You're the question of the man just asked Marshy. Marshy!
How you do?
We there are doing it, you know. We are doing it.
Yes. Why? Dial name call again,
Sure, man. Then, me say, me no want hear nothing more about Daryl Vaz until me hear about the boss. Because me sure say somebody thief some of that money, Marshy. I don't know who.
Well,
I don't know
let me tell you something.
But that $1.4 billion for the 110-old boss, me sure say some of that thief. And any day, the Auditor General come with that report, that is the day that I am waiting on.
That time the people them are going to speak in tongues. And them more than tongues when they see the river.
That time the whole Jamaica go there for rabba.
Because something gone wrong.
Yes, sir.
And it might duck it all the while. No, go look far now. Andrew Willis now talking about the bureaucracy in the defense of the Starlink. And I said the defense, the bureaucracy this, and the bureaucracy this, and Jamaican bureaucracy complicated.
Hold on. Every time that this government speaks about bureaucracy in procurement, what they are speaking about is their incompetence.
But
I have said it over and over, Marshy. Over and over. That any system that you are dealing with for 10 years and you can't master dealing with that system, something wrong with you.
Well on. Medicine is a very serious thing.
Yes.
So this is medicine for turn doctor. How long this study take?
Oh, about 7 years.
For them pass you.
About 7 years total.
God almighty. I mean, what's that? Well complicated.
Yes.
Right?
And it'll take 10 years.
And it'll take 10 years. Because that past 10 years, you would almost reach a consultant.
Of course. Of course.
No. There's a half-wit in the Senate. And that half-wit now. Now somebody need to ask Pamela Manuelis if she give any information to the Jamaica Labour Party that Jack them name is called in the US scandal. Because nationwide run with it.
No, but listen.
And Marlon Margaret.
Hear what me I say about that. And I calling all GLP broadcasters, vloggers, and supporters to the front of the line. The Auditor General said 4 companies benefited.
Yes.
4. And Every day you hear the labor right then depend Dennis Garden name. Now, if you don't know one, why you don't know the next three? That means the next
That's why
three
me say,
is associated with the Jamaica Labour Party. Come out
that's
with
why
the
me
next
say
three
somebody
name.
must get to Monroe Ellis and ask her this question because she give report about the four. So how come she tell them about Dennis Garden and I tell Dennis Garden about the rest? And I tell them the rest.
Listen,
Uncle
man.
Dennis Garden, I'm sure I tell them about.
There are a set
How
of
come?
hypocrites and a set of crowbaits.
It's rightly. And listen, now there's a half with that Andrew is putting at the Senate. Marlon Morgan.
You have to
I heard
blame,
him this
hold
evening
on.
and another.
You have to blame OB for it. And me have to take little of the blame to call OB start bad theme and draw me upon the team. Because there was a time when I was saying that Marlon Morgan should be named a senator. Yes. But I hope
Yes.
I hope he fault. I hope he draw me upon the team.
Well, I must tell you that while Obi was there talking, I joined Anta Boy Marlon and really work hard. You decide to get you deserve something.
So Obi draw you upon the team too.
Yes, I was there too. And me think the guy could have that.
Hold on, you want saying say sorry for Marga dog, turn around bite you.
Now me hear the man I said, Mark Golden should have dismissed Dennis Garden trying to get the report about the Huey thing.
No, all when that come out of Marlon Morgan. Hold on, all when that come out of Marlon Morgan mouth, he should have just dumb. Hey, that's why me couldn't be God, you know. That's why me couldn't be God. Because if me I did all God know, and Marlon Morgan said that, our lucky mouth couldn't lack again, you know. All when me hear one fool named Winner, I talk about corruption and Dennis Garden, and I talk about resign. When all them man they open them mouth and talk about anybody else corrupt, they should have just dumb.
No man. Dumb is dumb. Look how much corruption. Look how much corruption.
Brother.
Christopher Tufton involving. Look how much corruption Darrell Varge involving.
But hear
look
this
how much
one.
corruption Andrew Wellness is. I'm going to talk this. No, because listen, and the man then come out and attack them things and then now look for their own. But guess what? They're so involved in corruption. That's when they see anybody else, right? Then see, don't me tell you, so when you put a mirror before a dog, the dog back after himself.
Yeah, man, but you have one next saying where say thief never so love to see thief with long bag. So then labor right think of them own corruption and them alone must corrupt. Yes. At that. Where you are getting involved in our corruption for. Damn and blast.
You know. Hey, Marlon Morgan shouldn't open his mouth to talk anything because him did advise our Ministry of Education. And one lady down the ground where we do much $1 million. And then what them call it the status of something another expire. What the word they use, me remember. But then can't bother charge her again.
No,
they were supposed to be advisor.
They were supposed to be the surcharge, the Auditor General, so we're supposed to get back the money. And the GLP government sat down and watch the statute of limitation run out so we not get back the money.
See what we are talking about that?
Yes.
See what we are talking about
that?
Marlon Morgan, you have to go, you know if you talk, Marlon Morgan. Just bury your head now. And please, Marlon, the next time when you're going to talk from your mouth. Don't talk from what you sit on. Here, please do.
Later,
have a great day here, sir.
Blessings. 876-804-7072. Marlon Morgan talking about Mark Golden must fire somebody. Marlon, pick out the matter them out here, yai, before you look for nobody, yai. Pick out the matter them. Yeah, brother.
You know, see, Warrington take over the ECJ office now. My man left.
A Warrington them a put in place a fence.
Yeah.
Tala! Hell pop down at that, you know.
Me I tell you.
Hell pop down at that.
Warmington them a put there now.
A Warmington a replace. But You see, when Wentworth Skeffrey stepped down, the Labour right, they make a big thing out of it. How we not hear not out of Tom Tavares Finson stepping down as the EOJ rep for the GLP? Hey, Labour right, they are masters of propaganda manipulation, you know.
Them, you know, say all we are going. Them have this team long time. And him they have to put the long time, you know, I listen to them a go and they not give him nothing. This they have to give him long time.
So
You think they easy, man?
What special him go do down there?
Well, I don't know, but him is a general. So they will have to open up their eye upon him. I tell you.
I calm them, I try calm Warmington because word on the street is that they promised him that he would be the speaker of the house. That's why I lace them up with you. Lace them up properly.
Right now, what have I not? I guess so me I work. I know me I go win if I know me I go win it.
You gonna run as councillor?
No, me I go work with a caretaker. Them beg me.
Oh, so you gonna work with
all of them. Denise and all of them beg me. So me I go work with the youth. Me know me have influence in a North Division, so me go work and win it.
All right, my boss. Looking forward to that.
Bless up yourself.
One love.
Yeah, man.
876-804-7072. You're watching the Colin Bell Show. We're live on Portland Spice TV. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like, and share the channel with somebody in your contact so that we can get these information out to a wide cross-section of Jamaica. We can educate the people of Jamaica, give them correct information, because on this channel, we speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Go ahead, Marie.
Yes, good evening, Colin, to your listeners and viewers. Colin, I made it up on the bandwagon big for Marlon, you know. Because
Jesus.
honestly,
hey.
I thought that, my campaign, you know, because I thought that you know, I thought that we would have been the administration, and to me was saying they did a feel.
Yeah.
Now, like when they go to school and them say all who feel and I get no back, I yourself not feel no trash.
Yes.
No, and that's what I'm doing. So, my campaign for New Start, man, I say, no, man, and get a man something, man,
yeah,
because,
man.
you know, deserve it. What campaign? I mean, I tell a lie. Live for, you know, say, man, if they come, I can say thanks still, you know, call him. So, you don't know, you know, and stuff. But you don't know, he's a parliamentary secretary now, and you know, we colors eye and all of that, and
well,
titles.
It's one thing me want to tell you now. And me want to tell every PNP. Labour right now like no PNP. You no better know that. So all of we are talking about, we have friends in the GLP. Them know nothing with we. They will use us and abuse us. If they can get information, they go and take the information. But nobody think they like you are in and nothing with you. You hear? Me I tell you that.
Well, yeah, apart from the friend thing, because I'm only acquainted with him, but 2 years ago.
I don't know him, I've never met him in person, you know.
Yes, I met him in person.
I have never met him in person.
2 years ago when my son was murdered, you know, he reached out to me personally, you know, and all of that. So all of that, you know, I say, you know, apart from that, you know, I say, you know, but I really did campaign for him get something. So, you know, after that him get it and it carried over. Yeah. Colin, I'm happy that Omar was on, and I'm glad that he expounded on the part about you know, when you ask him about you know, because a lot of people saying, you know, the opposition is too quiet. So I'm happy that he was able to expound and show that yes, you know, it's not a matter that the opposition is quiet, but you know, there is like a narrow window or, you know, opening where they are not able to come up and just come out in the parliament and just come out and just say certain things unless a minister, the portfolio person is there and bring it up. So I was happy that that was brought out. So, not to put it at rest because we need to be strident still.
Yes.
But I'm happy that, that was expounded on. As for the corruption thing, now a Starling, but I tell you, if Vaz name in it, Colin, it look like the thing can't mix in it, can't mix in it.
But I him run the thing, I him run the show, People must understand that, Darrell Vaz is the big man in the government,
Yeah.
I tell you that.
The other countries, them deal with corruption on a different level, And I hear the caller saying in England, Mr. Otiana still saying, because I'm glad you brought it to the attention that a senior government, whatever in the administration at the time, when the ban was there, said do not export. He just went there like kissing teeth and so on, lucky me I do what I want to do.
Yes, that's what I tell him about. I will call him man scrappy after that.
Yeah, it became scrappy, So when I Googled a while ago and them something, Jamaica is on the perception, Jamaica is high up, we right about in the middle, when it comes on to corruption. And if this had been another democracy, I'm calling, Mr. Holness could not run back in the election September 3rd. He would have been long gone. He would have had to step down, and even those that have been and go clear him name or whatever and come back. He would not have been able to be sitting in parliament. And then when people talk him get incensed and as if to say, how dare you question my, I never want to use the word integrity, come in a seat right there right now. But it's like, how dare you question me? In Singapore and all of them people that not play with corruption,
Listen.
Colin.
Corruption in Jamaica will not stop or go down until we remove this government. Because a corrupt government cannot stamp out corruption.
No. Hell no. Like Marx, no, you cannot. Them cannot. Maybe that's why in essence and so calling him can't even talk to Tufton.
So what to Tufton? Him can't talk to Tufton. Him can't talk to Xavier Main. Remember, there's a man in the parliament named Donovan Williams, who is hiding shares for somebody. And this law was passed recently where say you can't do that. And a man sit down in the parliament to hide shares. And it's still there.
Yeah.
Time ago, you're married. Me, I'll take 2 more calls before we're done. Big up yourself.
To question, not Tufton. Can't question Tufton. I just make Tufton run.
The moral compass drop overboard. That's why the ship is sailing without any direction.
South.
Yeah, man.
South and past. South.
Little more.
All right.
Bless you. 876-804-7072. Hello, good evening. A long time in a year, yo.
Hello, good night.
Long time in a year, yo. Where have you been?
I'm in the home, man. I just work. My work I keep me busy, but watch every night, man.
Talk to me.
Question. Why you think Marlon come out with the gibberish that you are seeing expound out in mouth? Then you don't see a Dana, I don't see a Apka come out as the information minister. Dana, you don't see this person's posture.
Marlon, listen.
Compared to Marlon.
Marlon no have no credibility, So, him no have nothing to lose when him come out and talk all kind of garbage. So, him a the garbage man.
But watch this now. I always tell people this and friends and people in life now. When you lose everything, there's always one thing you always have to cherish most of all, is your character.
Well, them now have none left. So.
Right, so I mean, you see, and one of the things me hear people that talk about, say the PNP is supposed to come out and a lot of things. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth still now, Sir Colin. Jamaica has reached a point in time where the people right now of Jamaica has become numb and used to certain things that they don't care. It's like for the people, it's an autopilot, not the country alone. The people them is an autopilot. They just go about them business and say, them man in the government, them can do anything what them want and them not care, them not busy about politics until the mindset, the culture of the people them change. where they see that they are going to be benefited from in terms of long run, even if it's not them, but their kids are benefiting with the policies that is put forward. Because just use the Melissa example now and say how the government is running with the amount of money that they collect, and look on this cool time here. I see an advertisement, I see something with the people that in Petersfield where they do want to move out of the school. All them people that manage now.
Listen, you hear Ralston said it. The people of Jamaica no business about nothing. Anything or anything. Once them can get some rum and boom and a spliff, and the girl them hear some music and broke out, that is where it goes, my brother.
One of them no really sit down still now, even if you're a labor tower. But then again, no. The people them who say them are labor right now, them not going to see the truth still now. Because
well,
them
all
get
suffer, you know. Marcus Garvey said black people will not know themselves until their backs are against the wall.
Back against the wall.
Yeah, man. So right there, so
you see?
right there, so it there.
Them will take the pain, the long-term pain, go and reach them.
All right, my brother. We'll run.
Yes, sir.
We can take our next one. Ed boy, may I call you from yesterday, you know?
I'll get you right on the wire.
Yeah, man, may I call you because I'm vexed, you know?
Who bother you?
Jordan Silvera plead guilty. That meaning kill a woman.
No, man. Let me tell you something.
Tell me.
All truth shall be revealed in time.
How?
I have nothing more to say on that.
No, so why plead guilty, Ed boy? I plead guilty to manslaughter.
Colin,
yes.
You and I will have to talk private.
But then do they science him and turn him in an idiot?
All I'm saying, all truth shall be revealed in time.
Box fire blade, Ed boy. Your faith greater than Job.
Hold on, no? Hear me out. Admission of guilt don't mean that you're guilty.
What?
Hold on, no?
Explain that.
I don't have to explain it. I'm simply saying you have never heard me being so stoic from you know me. Admission of guilt don't mean guilty. But anyway, let me quickly move to a more important issue.
Yeah.
Because I don't want nobody to come sidestep and sideshow this. Yeah, I want to refer to a simple matter, which is in relation to Starlink.
Yeah. Yes.
I come here about only Starlink and Starlink only.
Well, me dep on the bus too.
Well, me on the bus, but you've been keeping the bus, so I can't.
I dep on the bus. Me want back my money out of the bus.
Well, I agree with you. The bus go and bus up somebody.
Go on with the Starlink. Let me hear who star it.
No, the star is not starring at the linking. Because from what we gather, Darrell Vaz, I want to ask you two questions, my good friend from Kingston, who is now in West Portland. I will never say you are from Portland. Yeah? Now, I want to ask you two questions, Minister Vaz. One, the first one is, are you an agent for Starlink in Jamaica?
Yeah. Well, him say Elon Musk must come to Jamaica. Me did hear my invite Elon Musk to come down.
And the second question would be, if your answer is in the affirmative, are you, what sort of company do you have in Jamaica? And is that company a distributor of Starlinks?
Yep, Paula. Question I ask.
I asked the question against the background that we were privy to an Auditor General report which says that 200 Starlinks were procured without any approval, that the minister just take upon himself to procure Starlink. Now let us go further and deeper into it. And looking beyond, what is clear to us is that 700 Starlink were donated.
Yes.
But to date, only 300 has been distributed. So remember, 400 out of the 700 that has not been distributed, and there's 200 now that has been procured without approval.
So have those been distributed? That 200?
Absolutely not. Because hold on now, and then we're going to get now to as my good friend would say, as Danny Buck would say, lie them lie. Lie them lie. And we're going to honor the lie.
Yeah.
Why is the ministry procuring 200 additional Starlink when you already have
You already have 700 in donation in
Because we
partnership
give
with
away the 700 already and we want 200 more.
No, but the ministry records only show us distributing 300.
No, sir, that can't go, sir.
No, go check the Auditor General report.
Me have the report. Me start read, but me not done yet. Me not read. Me not even reach there, sir.
Colin, I will bet you my last dollar that the report you will read, because we spoke on it last night, the report that you would read would show you that 700 was not out of the 700. It's only 300 distributed. Don't confuse yourself.
So where the 400 there? Where the next 400 there?
And where is the 200? When they did an audit of the so-called 200 he procured, only 40 of the 200 was located in different ministries. And guess what happened? They have not used them as yet. So why not give them to the poor people? This is what I'm saying, you know.
So when them all use them to know that we have back service and them say Starlink connection in Jamaica done. You never hear that?
If I'm an agent for an entity, where do it mean I have more to distribute and more to sell?
But Virgin, you never hear say Starlink connection in Jamaica done. You can't get no more residential Starlink in Jamaica. You can't get connect no more. Can't connect.
What? How come?
Because the space run out. It's satellite up there, you know, and only so much can connect to it and no more.
Well, Colin, whether you want to say he or retroactively, somebody benefited from the Starlink deal.
Them a benefit from every God Almighty thing.
No, but it's not just that alone. The man them a benefit from. I didn't call nobody name, and so nobody not come sue Colin. I did not say. I said the man them. Whoever is the man them, we must honor them.
Yes.
But I am saying the man them are import. The man them come like the mafia. Them tell you how much fee you must pay them to import vehicle. If you don't pay that fee to them, you can't import it.
What, shala? Well,
anyway,
let me tell you something.
As Marsh would say, rabba.
Let me tell you something. The people of Jamaica. Well, let me fix up that. Every person who voted for the GLP in the last election have signed off on corruption. Have given a stamp of approval for corruption. Every single individual who voted for the GLP in the last election has voted by saying we have no problem with corruption. Driver, don't stop at all. Carry the corruption. Go anywhere. Run it over long, short, or at all. Every Labourite who voted. And every Christian who say not Christian and vote GLP in the last election must go repent. Beg forgiveness. God's grace is sufficient. Head boy.
Colin, I'm saying one thing I have to say: those who have acquired land without their rightful permission will have their time in court. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Who have acquired land without what?
Rightful permission and without justification.
And without paying for it?
And also may have involved the unaliving of some other persons, but may God deal with them.
Hey, boy. Head boy.
We're gone, brother. All the best.
Later. My listeners and my viewers, I say this without any fear of contradiction. Anybody who voted for the GLP in the last election has given a stamp of approval for corruption to run this country. This is my final call. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, Colin.
Yeah.
Marlon, a mongrel dog about around Dover and a Rottweiler, you know. So can't pay a mongrel dog the mind, you know.
All right, sir. I never hear when you say I never listen. But time of the master.
Yeah, man, because you know, see a spokesman for law and them no belong to like Dora. Not Dora, but any Malawi.
Yes, I hear them. Thank you for the call.
All right, blood.
I have one clip to play before I leave you, my people. Saturday morning, I have some more clips that I want to play for now. But the Minister of Finance was under the gun again yesterday in the Parliament. Julian had some questions for her, but I want to take the questions that Mark Golding asked the Minister of Finance. I want to listen to this exchange between Mark Golding and Favour Williams.
Minister, just a couple of questions. The overall funding package that was announced from multilateral sources, I think of 6.7 billion US for the Hurricane Melissa recovery. That works out, I think, somewhere in the region of 20% of GDP, depending, where GDP is, but somewhere in that region. I noticed that the government's projections indicate that the debt to GDP ratio doesn't get elevated in the medium term beyond 68% or thereabouts. How does that, and given that the...
Hold on, Marky G. Because I see somebody in the chat room say, wait there, PNP will be in opposition for at least 40 years more. Make it 5 decades straight in opposition. Well, let me tell you one thing. Under the GLP, Jamaica can have 10 years to survive. So after 10 years more under GLP government, there will be no Jamaican or no Jamaica. Let me get that right. 10 years more of GLP, there will be no Jamaica. So PNP won't be able to be in opposition for 40 years. You stupid fool.
Projected rates of growth are quite modest, and we have to recover from a reduction in real GDP this fiscal year as a result of the catastrophe. How does that square in terms? I know that for some of it is private sector and probably won't come on the books as debt, but over 4 billion of it, I think, is loans of some sort. So how does that, that's what I was saying, is around 20% of GDP, the loan portion. So how does that square with your projections for debt to GDP growth?
All right, so member, yes, you're right about the 6.7 billion. You have to subtract off of that for the 0.7, which is our own resources, not debt, just resources, from the cat bond and other areas.
What figure is that?
0.7,
Yeah.
so that leaves 6,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Minus off the 2.4 for private sector. So that would leave you with 3.6. There is, call it 0.4, which is the IMF facility that we have received already. That is to help us with balance of payment support.
Hold on.
So that
doesn't...
Hold on. Because all some of our favor attack while are rubbish, You see that 0.7, where she talk about that 700 million, some of it alone. So I pay rubbish favor. Me and Ralston will talk about this Saturday morning. Because some of what you talk favor are rubbish. The $700 million, a portion of it is loan. I can take you to the clip with the Prime Minister explaining the 600 million US, which is a part of that 700 million. Some of it alone. Rubbish.
Count towards the debt to GDP.
But anyhow, the 3.6, the 3.2, after you take off the 0.4, will
the
be
0.4
primarily...
wouldn't count towards the public debt. The IMF facility. I'm asking you.
Yes, it
okay.
will. The 3.2 that's left it's considered investment loans, so it's very project specific. And you are able to access it once you've defined what the projects are. So the point is, we will not be taking this all at once on our books. It will be spread out over time, and you can see how your debt to GDP can be managed over a period of time.
But the medium-term projections are whereas focused on where the debt to GDP ratio peaks at around 68% as projected. I would imagine these facilities would be drawn down over a similar period.
Right, but also there's growth, there's recovery in the GDP that will help as well. Yes, we have to have recovery. We've seen recovery after the pandemic. We've seen recovery after Hurricane Beryl. So there's no reason not to expect full recovery.
But recovery to where you were is one thing, but this after recovery, what we've seen is that we've normalized back to very modest levels of growth. So, all of us would like to see that dynamic change, but that's the main conundrum facing the economy. So I'm just questioning, how you accommodate over that medium-term period all those additional loans and stick within that projection as to the debt to GDP.
So again, member, two things would be happening. One, the growth in the GDP, that would help your debt to GDP ratio, and the fact that we will judiciously take on these loans over time.
Yeah, but as you borrow them, they accumulate in your
debt
stock.
But your GDP is growing as well.
Yeah.
So, that's that balance.
All right. And the other question I had
not modestly, Marky G.
The housing.
Very low. Not modest. Very low. Very low growth we have. But that's it, my people. We're leaving it right there. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again Saturday morning, let me say thanks to MP Philip Paulwell and MP Omar Newell, who joined us this evening on the program. Thanks to you, my ardent listeners and viewers and subscribers. Like up the video for me now. Give me a thumbs up on the video, please and thanks. Give me a thumbs up before I leave. Everybody, before I leave, touch the thumbs up. It now costs a dime to touch the thumbs up. Thanks, everybody. Do remember to join us Saturday morning. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like, and share. And if you are an ambassador to Portland Spice TV, please, every ambassador, may I beg on 5 subscribers this month. Every person where follow the channel, listen to the channel, love the channel, get 5 new subscribers for me. Please and thanks. One love, my people. Blessed. See you on Saturday morning. God bless you.